Brace yourself for a mind-blowing tour of Earth's colossals, where the USA's mountain ranges crash into India's ancient heartlands, frozen ice sheets clash with blazing salt deserts, and national park systems sprawl so vast they'd swallow Portugal whole. From border-defying landscapes to geography that redefines massive, this is the wild truth behind the planet's biggest giants.
Did you know Argentina has one of the longest national park systems in the world? It stretches over 1,000 miles, covering a significant portion of the country from north to south. That's approximately 57,000 square kilometers of protected wilderness. The chain connects the snow-capped Andes Mountains to the Atlantic Ocean, all in one country. You can hike from the Andes to the subtropical coast, all without leaving the park system. And it's so vast, it covers more land than California alone. Could you hike the entire thing? How long would it take you? Tell us in the comments. Did you know Argentina is almost as big as India, but nobody talks about it? It spans about 1.07 million square miles, making it the 8th largest country in the world. You could not fit the entire United States inside Argentina. From the Andes Mountains to the Amazon Basin. It stretches about 2,300 miles from north to south. Despite its size, Argentina has only about 50 million people, less than the population of the United States. That means it's one of the most sparsely populated big countries in the world. Could you drive across Argentina? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know you could travel from rainforests to glacier in just one country? Argentina stretches over 3,700 kilometers from north to south. That's longer than the contiguous United States. It's comparable in size to the entire United States east of the Mississippi River, over 2,780,000 square kilometers of wild beauty. From the steamy jungles of Iguazu Falls to the snow-capped peaks of Patagonia, Argentina has it all. You can ski in the morning and swim in a tropical river by night, all within the same country. Argentina contains tropical, temperate, and polar climates, all in one place. Could you drive from one end to the other? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know China's coastline is longer than the entire United States? China's coastline stretches approximately 9,000 miles, from the Bohai Gulf in the north to the Gulf of Tonkin in the south. That's less than half the length of the USA's coastline, which is over 95,000 miles when including all states and territories. China's geography is just as vast, stretching from tropical islands in the south to arid deserts in the west. It officially observes one time zone, China Standard Time, UTC+8. China's population density is about 370 people per square mile, roughly one-third that of the USA. Could you drive from one end of China to the other? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. What if a single island had more ice than all of Canada combined? Greenland is the world's largest island, covering approximately 836,330 square miles. That's about 26% bigger than Alaska, and it's almost entirely frozen. 80% of its surface is covered by an ice sheet over 3,488 meters thick at its maximum. This ice sheet holds enough water to raise global sea levels by 23 inches. Yet, Greenland has fewer than 50,000 people, the same as a mid-sized American city. Could you drive across Greenland? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know Iran holds more salt deserts than the entire continent of Europe? Iran spans approximately 636,000 square miles, bigger than the entire United States. It's so big, you could fit Germany, France, and Spain inside it, and still have room to spare. 22% of the world's salt deserts are found in Iran. That's over 20,000 square miles of white wasteland. The Dasht-e Desert alone stretches for 300 miles across the heart of the country. Some salt flats are so thick, they reflect the sun so intensely they can be seen from space. Could you drive across Iran? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. What if a country stretched from Miami to Moscow and was still mostly untouched? Saudi Arabia is about 830,000 square miles, bigger than Australia but not as big as Brazil. It's so big that it spans one time zone, from its western mountains to the Arabian Sea. The Rub' Thul Khali Desert alone is about 250,000 square miles, about the size of Texas. Yet, only 10% of Saudi Arabia is habitable, the rest is scorching desert or rugged mountains. Despite its size, most of the country remains untouched, a land of extremes and endless space. Could you drive across it? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know Ukraine is bigger than France, Spain, and Portugal combined? Ukraine covers approximately 233,032 square miles of land, making it the second largest country in Europe by land area. It stretches more than 1,000 miles from east to west, that's like driving from New York to Chicago. The country is slightly smaller than the combined area of the United Kingdom and Ireland, and it's still not the biggest in Europe. Despite its massive size, Ukraine is smaller than Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Kansas combined, yet it still fits inside the United States. And scientists still can't explain how such a large country can be so rich in culture, history, and natural beauty, all in one place. Could you drive across Ukraine? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know the smallest US state could hold over 1,300 monegasques inside it? The United States is so vast it stretches across 4 time zones, from Pacific to Eastern. Rhode Island, the tiniest state, is just over 1,000 square miles. Monaco, the second smallest country, is only 0.8 square miles, just 1/1,300th the size of Rhode Island. That means you could fit over 1,300 Monacos side by side in Rhode Island alone. And here's the kicker, Rhode Island has over 400 miles of coastline, more than all of Germany. Could you drive across the US in a day? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know the United States has more climate zones than the entire continent of Europe? The USA spans approximately 2,800 miles from coast to coast and covers approximately 3,800,000 square miles, the 4th largest country in the world. That's slightly smaller than the combined land area of India and Argentina. From the tropical beaches of Hawaii to the icy tundra of Alaska, the USA has a wide variety of climate zones. You can experience a 40-degree snowstorm in North Dakota and a 100-degree heatwave in Arizona on the same day. If you flew from Key West, Florida to Juneau, Alaska, you'd pass through several different climate zones. Could you drive across the USA? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know Australia is so remote, its nearest continental neighbor is over 2,000 miles away? Australia is the 6th largest country in the world, covering over 2 million square miles of land. It's so big, it's actually smaller than the entire United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. From the tropical north to the icy south, Australia spans over 2,000 miles, about the same as the distance from New York to Los Angeles and back. Because it's so vast, it has 3 main time zones, and it takes over 20 hours to drive from one end to the other. And here's the kicker, Australia is moving. It's drifting north at about 1 inch every 2 years, inching towards Southeast Asia. In 50 million years, Australia could finally meet its closest neighbor, and the world map will look completely different. Did you know Colombia has more bird species than the entire continent of Europe? That's just the beginning. Colombia stretches over 1,142 miles, from the Caribbean Sea to the Amazon Basin. It's the 4th largest country in South America, but not bigger than Texas and Alaska combined. 3 massive Andes mountain ranges run through the country, more than any other nation. More than 30,000 square miles of Amazon rainforest lie in the south, home to jaguars, pink river dolphins, and countless unknown species. You can ski in the Andes in the morning and snorkel in the Caribbean by night, all in the same country. Could you drive across Colombia? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. What if a country 4 times the size of Alaska had just one capital city? Saudi Arabia covers about 830,000 square miles, bigger than the entire continent of Europe. It stretches 1,200 miles from north to south, almost the length of the United States. You could fit about one Alaska inside its borders and still have room for Texas. Despite its size, the entire country has just one capital city, Riyadh, and no major cities in the north. And it's so big that it takes over 20 hours to drive from one end to the other. Could you drive across Saudi Arabia? How long would it take? Tell us in the comments. Did you know Saudi Arabia is so massive it stretches across 3 continents? It covers about 830,000 square miles, smaller than both Brazil and Australia combined. The country spans parts of Asia and Africa, all in one place. From the Red Sea to the Arabian Gulf, it stretches approximately 1,328 miles east to west. Saudi Arabia is slightly smaller than the United States. And it still has one of the world's longest coastlines in the Persian Gulf. Could you drive across Saudi Arabia? How long would it take? Guess in the comments. Did you know the United States is so big it could swallow 42 Germany's whole? The USA spans about 2,800 miles from coast to coast. That's longer than the distance from New York to Los Angeles. It covers more than 2,400,000,000 acres, the 4th largest country in the world by land area. You could fit Germany, and 21 more just like it, inside the borders of the USA. From the snowy peaks of Alaska to the sun-soaked beaches of Florida, the USA has more landscape variety than any other country. If you drove straight across the country at 60 miles per hour, it would take you about 50 hours, that's over 2 full days of non-stop driving. Could you really drive across the USA in 2 days? How long would it take you? Tell us in the comments.